All right, so just make sure you read these. We're not really concerned about the rocket part of it, but here we go. A rocket is launched at t equals 0 seconds. That's nice. Its height in feet above sea level as a function t is given by this function. So thank you for the function. Some of that information is pertinent if you were to do some more stuff with this, but we're not, okay? By the way, this one, it looks like it was launched at a height of 528 feet. How do I know that? Because I replaced the t's with zeros. That made it easy to solve. H of 0, that's time is 0 seconds, 528. There we go. I also suppose you didn't care, so maybe I wasted your time. When does the rocket hit the ground after it is launched? Okay, well, we got to ask ourselves probably, we may have to ask ourselves another question here. When does the rocket hit the ground after it's launched? So it's going to hit the ground, right? Now, we have two things that this function is based off of. T is time, h is height. So we have to ask ourselves sometimes, how high off the ground, I'm not trying to be a jerk here or facetious,
It just happens.
is the, yeah, I know. That's what happens when you're around 12, 13, and 14-year-olds all day long. How high off the ground is the ground? Well, last time I checked, it was 0. It was 0 feet off the ground, okay? Why is that important? Because my height right here, I'm looking for it to be 0. So it's related to everything we've just done in this lesson, which means that at this point, you just say, well, we're just pretty much factoring this equation then? Yeah. We're going to factor, it's already equal to 0, so that should be good. So something else that I noticed right here, and some students may not notice this, and so they go straight to factoring by grouping, which is a legitimate way to do it. And you would get the answer. You should get the same exact answer that I do. But I noticed that at least all these numbers they're even. So they're divisible by 2 at least. I think they're all divisible by 16. I think. So why is that important? Because from that, if I factor out, well, really negative 16 from this.
You have to switch.
And it's not like I know my multiples of 16. I'm just, just checking the calculator. 128 divided by 16, which we're going to do anyways, I guess. 128 divided by 16. Really negative 16, right? So that ends up being a negative 8t right there. Dang it, negative 8t. Thank you. So the last one there is plus 33. Thank you. Now the first one, of course, we're just left with the t squared. Okay, now, of course, this does equal 0. I'm not worried about that yet, but now I have a leading coefficient that is 1, which is great news because I'm just going to factor this out into 2 separate factors. What I need then is for 2 factors of 33 to add up to 8. I got it. Well, sorry, negative 8, rather. So it's an...
Isn't it negative?
Yes. Make sure you get your signs correct. Try to have someone with you that can help you in case you miss it. It's a minus 33. Thank you. Now, negative 11 times, I guess we're still using the same number, so even if I did it wrong, it ended up being right, which isn't really a good thing. But from this, we got the t's in here, and I've got the negative 11, and then the positive 3 right there. Now, I'm going to write the rest of this equation out. I'm gonna do something probably no one would do. But the negative 16 is obsolete right here. It doesn't make any difference because everything else is going to be 0, right? We're going to make this factor 0 and this factor 0. So the negative 16 doesn't matter. I'm going to force it to not matter, though. How am I going to do that? I'm going to make it a phantom 1. If this doesn't help, ignore what I'm saying, okay? But I'm going to use the principle of equality by dividing both sides by negative 16. What does that do? It makes that a phantom 1. And then I'm left with just t minus 11 times t plus 3 equals, well, what's 0 divided by negative 16? It's still 0. So it just gets rid of that negative 16 for us. It was a little extra step. It's a little extra work. Is it worth it? You have to decide, though. Okay.
I'm sorry.
If you could factor out a t from the 3 terms, then that would have made it a little bit different, but we couldn't. So there you go. All right, so let's rewrite this because I need a little bit of extra space, right? So I got 0 equals t minus 11 times t plus 3. And if I could get that t minus 11 to equal 0, I'd get a true statement. So, yeah, and so yes, not everyone needs to show this work. Just be careful doing stuff in your head. As you see, and I make mistakes. So t should equal 11. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the original equation and check. Okay, so that was negative 16 times, now it's 11 squared, plus 128 times 11 rather, plus 528, enter. I got 0. So this one checks off, right? T equals 11. Oh, that's good. Now I'm going to solve t plus 3 equals 0. So I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. To zero that out, drop my t. T equals negative 3. Now, will negative 3 work? Let's see. Negative 16 times parentheses negative 3. I want that in parentheses because it's negative squared plus 1, yeah, or times 9. Plus 128 times negative 3 plus 528. Enter. Boom. It's 0. I'm not going to box that one in, though.
Because those aren't answers. Oh, you just ignore that one, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not gonna be negative height.
That's correct. So on this one, this is a word problem. It has to be applicable and actually make sense in the problem. In fact, this answer right here that I have is 11. It's good, it's just, it's not 11, it's 11 seconds. I'm just gonna put 11s. S for seconds. But you can't have negative time. Well, I guess you could, but that'd be really weird.
Seconds, I'm sorry.
Seconds. Right
Oh.
there. So you could say negative 3 seconds would work, but that means it would be 3 seconds. It would be at it would have been at the ground height 3 seconds before you launch the rocket. Yeah, launching the rocket. But
Technically, it probably was on the ground 3 seconds before.
it may have been, yeah. So, but in any case, that is it. We only have the one answer on this.